If you're someone who feels you have to choose between time spent in prayer or time spent for physical fitness and health, fear no more, because now there's a new way to integrate your spiritual and physical health. I'm one of these people who can't find time for fitness, but I do spend time in prayer, so I've contacted a personal trainer here at our local community center, and he's promised to help me put the two together. Oh, I also brought a priest, just to be sure. Okay, so here we are. This is Father Donatello.
Hi, how are you?
Father Donatello Ioko, he's a priest, and Michael Carrera,
How are you, Pedro? Nice to see you.
personal trainer. So this is the man that's going to be training us, even though, as you can see, Father doesn't need a lot of training. So where do we begin?
All right, so we're going to be doing the Catholic workout.
Okay.
The Catholic workout is very simple. It combines resistance training exercises using dumbbells and combines them with the Rosary. So there are 5 exercises. And what I really want to do with these 5 exercises is I wanted to concentrate on the Passion of Christ. So these 5 exercises are really just fitness exercises that I use every day with my clients. But the movements place you at the point of the Passion.
Right.
And the minute your mind goes to the Passion, it really increases the level of intimacy, but also really increases the level of intensity.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So let's pretend we've just finished warming up. So on the actual workout DVD, we bring people through a 2 to 3 minute warm-up. It's really just walking on the spot, and then you can go bring it to a light jog. You really just want to raise your body temperature. Each decade begins with the Our Father prayer. So we've just completed the Our Father prayer. So we pick up our dumbbell, okay?
Yep.
We grab a cross finger grip. The first exercise is the scourging and the nailing of the hands. So to this movement, it's simply a dumbbell side wood chop, which is a great exercise for the core, for the abdominal muscles. Begin with the dumbbell at your side, knee slightly bent, contract your abdominal muscles, swing it down, good, and right back up again. Bring it down, right back up again. Let's do it one more time, straight down, and right back up again. Good. Place the dumbbell at rest level, okay? Let's do the other side. Straight down, and straight up, straight down, and straight up. One more time, straight down, and straight up. Now, we've decreased the amount of repetitions that we would normally do. The way the actual workout works is that it's 3 sets of 11 repetitions. 3 representing the Trinity, 11 representing the first 11 priests that were present at the Last Supper when the Lord broke bread.
Okay.
And then when we do 3 times 11 reps, we get 33. And the age predicted, the age that Jesus died,
yeah.
okay? So if you could imagine now that we did 11 repetitions on each side, at this point we would pause and we would say 3 Hail Marys. In order to say 3 Hail Marys, it roughly takes us 40 to 50 seconds, which is a great level to increase your heart rate, but keep your heart rate elevated. So when you go back to the exercise, you're still getting the gains and the benefits of that first set. Then we would start the second set. Dumbbell up. We would do it again on one side, pretending that we're going to do 11 repetitions. They'd pick up the dumbbell for the third set, and then they would end with the final 4 Hail Marys of the decade, the Glory Be, the Fatima prayer. So as you can see, after the third set, you get a longer period of rest. And that's not on purpose, because after you've just done 3 sets of 11 of the first decade, you want to give your body a little bit more rest before you start the second exercise.
Right.
Okay? The second exercise is the raising of the cross. So you grab the one dumbbell again, fingers crossed on dumbbell, hold the dumbbell just in front of you, squat down to the point where your quads or your legs are parallel to the floor. You're going to thrust the dumbbell forward, straight back down, contract abdominal muscles, thrust the dumbbell forward. Make sure the pressure is on the heel. Good. Thrust the dumbbell forward and up and straight back down. Straight up. Okay, we've just again completed 11 repetitions, 3 Hail Marys. We would do a third set. And once again, we go through the same form. 4 Hail Marys, Glory Be, the Fatima prayer. This exercise here was the raising of the cross. So you can imagine the actual cross being put into position with the Lord on the cross. Okay. Then we would go to the nailing of the feet. For the nailing of the feet, you would use both sets of dumbbells. So with the dumbbells at your side, you're simply going to throw your hips back, same way we did for the second exercise. Squat down, breathe in, push up, and breathe out. Now you want to make sure that your knees don't go over your toes when you're doing this exercise.
Okay.
Let's try once more. And come straight up again. Okay? So you can see you're constantly going from exercise to prayerful pause, exercise to prayerful pause. And the reason it's so important to focus on the meditations at that point in time, just placing yourself there, just watching, talking, doing whatever it is that you feel you want to do, is because your heart rate is elevated. And with your heart rate elevated, it increases the intimacy and the intensity of what you're feeling. So we've just finished the nailing of the feet. At this point, the Lord has died. So now we have the removal of the nails and the lowering of the body. Okay, so to perform the fourth exercise for the fourth decade, once again, we would begin with the Our Father prayer. Then we'd simply go down on one knee. On one knee, we'd grab a dumbbell, place the opposite arm on the knee, okay? Keeping your elbow close to your body, you're going to pull up and straight down, straight up, and straight down. As with all the exercises that require only one dumbbell, you perform the exercise on both sides of the body. Dumbbell at side, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. One more time, pretending we're doing 11, and straight down again, okay? So we're gonna stand up.
All right.
Arms by our side. We're gonna begin with the resurrection exercise. The resurrection exercise is simply a bicep curl. Put the dumbbells to the side, and we go directly ascension into heaven. Good, straight back down to the side. Let's go up again, resurrection, and ascension into heaven. Straight back down, one more time, resurrection, and ascension into heaven. Very good. That would lead us into the cool down. The cool down is to collect your thoughts, then simply be with the Lord for a final few minutes before you start your day, before you end your workout. Yeah. And that's the workout.
Great, thank you, Michael. I have a lot of questions, so why don't we go back to the studio and talk while we can sit down.
Perfect, sounds good.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Pedro.
Thanks, Father.
Thank you.
Now, we had a bit of a teaser there with the workout, and thank you, Michael, for showing us the workout. How did you come up with this idea?
Well, you know, I really struggled myself in trying to make time to both exercise and then trying to make time for prayer.
Yeah.
And the prayer would always lose out. Because coming from a background of being overweight and knowing how being insecure makes you feel physically, I'd always make time for the exercise, especially when I got to the point in my career when my job required me to be fit.
Right. So, sorry, you were overweight?
So I was overweight as a young
Really?
kid. Yeah, growing up as a teenager, I was overweight. And then by the age of 18, something snapped in me. It was the turning point. And I decided that I wanted to lose weight. And then having lost the weight really incorrectly is what really motivated me to want to study it.
Right.
And then from that, I always had my spirituality. I always had my Catholicism. And then there came a point in time when I wanted to take both my vocation as a trainer and also combine it with my faith.
Okay, so and why the Rosary? I mean, do you have a special connection to the
Well,
Rosary?
you know, I've always had a great devotion to the Rosary, and I always saw, you know, there's that saying that the eyes are the gateway to the soul.
Yeah.
Well, I always thought the best way to get to the truth is to get to behind of the woman who knows Jesus better than anyone. So I always saw the Rosary as a gateway to really look through and see truth as it really happened and as it unfolded. So when I had the fitness part of it and I combined it with the Rosary part of it, for me, it was a sense of wholeness. It was a sense of combining the total human being.
Okay, but it doesn't have to be the Rosary.
It doesn't have to be the Rosary at all. I also have a DVD called the Christian DVD, actually,
okay.
that actually takes people through the 5 exercises of the Passion of Christ, which is what the Catholic workout's about.
Yeah.
But instead of looking behind the eyes of the Rosary, it's a sense of praise. So you say, thank you, Jesus, praise you, Jesus. So there's a different essence of gratitude that's there.
Because when I first heard about it, and I think we talked about this even earlier, because I swim, and sometimes when I'm swimming, I'll do, you know, a decade of the Rosary or something, the Hail Marys, while I'm doing the exercise. And I thought, oh, this is not really anything new, because anybody can pray while they work out.
Sure.
But this is not it. I mean, we just did it, and so we alternate between the praying and actually doing the exercise.
Sure.
Why? Is there?
See, first of all, it's a resistance training program. Resistance training is incredibly important for muscle mass, for building muscle, which increases your metabolism and so forth, which is different than aerobic training, which is what swimming is, for example.
Okay.
But when you take the body and you exercise to a level of increasing respiration, increasing heart rate, which is what resistance training does, then you take a break from it and you go to the prayer, all of a sudden you feel you're in a sense of vulnerability. I feel very vulnerable now. My heart's increasing, my breathing rate's increasing, and that's the perfect time to get into that aspect of prayer. Because realistically, we know that prayer is really deep when you are very vulnerable. Jesus tells us, let them come to me, for such as these is the kingdom of heaven. Who's more vulnerable than a child? And when you bring your body physically to that moment is when you could really open yourself up to the Lord. Resistance training? Is that what you called it? That's right. See, for example, for the workout, we use the dumbbells.
Yes.
Right? Whenever you take something like a dumbbell and you go through certain motions, it's called resistance training.
Yes.
And nothing overloads the muscle and creates an environment in the muscle which promotes muscle growth, which increases lean muscle mass.
So even if people who are not doing the workout, the Catholic workout, praying and stuff, you would do the resistance and then rest.
And you can do
that's
the resistance.
That's part of a normal resistance training week.
Sure, exactly. You would do a resistance training program, and then you would rest, and you would think you'd have your thoughts. And people say exercise is great because it clears my head. Well, that's wonderful, but what are you filling it with?
Okay, that just goes to show how little I know about working out.
But that's what's so great about going through the Passion of Christ, is that you're filling your mind with the event that's forever shocked the world. And that's really the purpose of this. But really, by focusing on the Passion of Christ, by doing the exercises, you're now intensifying the workout. And you're intensifying it because you're raising it to a level of intimacy.
Yeah. Now, we haven't shown the book yet, But so the Catholic workout comes with a DVD.
Yeah, you
So
can
it's-
you can get them separately. Yes.
Oh, you can?
Yes.
But it makes sense that there's a DVD so people can watch it and you know, they might not understand, even though there are pictures, they might not understand, I guess, exactly what you mean by a certain, I don't know how you might be describing a movement. So I guess what I'm saying is that it's good to get the DVD. And in fact, maybe it would be good to show a little bit of the DVD. So why don't we show the introduction to the workout as it is on the DVD.
Hello, my name is Michael Carrera, and I would like to welcome you to the Catholic Workout. It is my goal in creating this DVD to bring the Catholic Workout book to life, to create a way for you to perfect your exercise technique, to inspire change, and also to build your body and build your faith. The DVD includes a small instructional booklet to help you with exercise technique and to answer some of the questions you may have in regards to the workout. I recommend that you watch the exercises on the DVD and familiarize yourself with the workout before you plan your first training session. So give it your all and make it all about the Lord. Bring all your hurts, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual junk to the foot of the cross. And inevitably, in all of His mercy, the Lord will make it all about you. Welcome to the Catholic Workout, and peace be with you.
So you're a personal trainer, obviously, and you already did say to me that you were always Catholic. Were you always strong in your faith? I mean, you had a devotion to the Rosary, but did you go through a period of time where...
I did, especially in 2003, 2004, my father got ill with cancer,
Oh, really?
and eventually he passed away. But that's really when I reached the foundation of my faith, where I challenged it. And I challenged it because I was always what I call the wisdom of the world. I wanted the fitness, I wanted the family, I wanted the friends, I wanted the fortune, I wanted the fame. But the faith was something that you couldn't bring to the boardroom, because bringing a Jesus to the boardroom, you just have to keep turning cheeks. Eventually you run out of cheeks. So I really didn't have that. And then when my father got sick, I left the wisdom of the world and I said, no, now I'm just going to concentrate on the wisdom of God, and I'm going to pray, I'm going to heal him. So I really had a distorted way of looking at my faith.
Right.
And it was really after his passing and coming through that. And I really had one priest in particular, a Salesian priest, who really helped me through it. And he helped me to take the physical and combine it with the spiritual and see that I can have the wisdom of God, which is really similar to the wisdom of the world, except God says to sprinkle it all with faith. So that's really why I took my vocation as a trainer. And I tried to sprinkle faith into it.
Okay. Now, I was going to say, I think most people would agree that fitness is important, but maybe if you flip it, for at least our viewers, who are, most of them are Catholic, that spiritual health is important. How do you see the integration? Like, why are both important? For someone who says, you know what, no, prayer is the most important thing, and I'm healthy, but I'm not, doing resistance training. What would you say to them? I mean, is that important? To what extent is physical health important?
See, we know that people who don't exercise are 2 times more likely to die prematurely. We know that from a secular research. We know that people who don't exercise are also 2 times more likely to have coronary heart disease. They have increased risk of cancer, increased risk of diabetes. So we know that living a healthy lifestyle, in particular with resistance training, is what's going to keep you young, is what's going to keep you fit, because muscle is metabolically active. Unlike fat just kind of sits there and sucks away calories, while muscle is active. It has energy to it. So the more muscle you can have, the longer lifespan you can have, and the more quality of life you can have.
So, but you mean exercise, you don't mean just like I walk to the subway every day?
I mean something that actually, that's a very good question actually. It's something that takes you out of your comfort zone.
Okay.
So for example, someone who is spiritual versus someone who just goes to church every Sunday is that the person who is spiritual is out of their comfort zone. They've looked at God straight in the eyes and said, please show me more. Please show me exactly what it is that you want me to do. It's very difficult to live by your will. How do I get into that will of yours? That's someone who has gone out of their comfort zone, which means they've made themselves vulnerable. And whenever you make yourself vulnerable, there's a chance of you getting hurt.
Right.
Same happens with exercise. It doesn't feel good. When we're doing it, it hurts. But those are the point in time.
It's a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice where that's when the benefits come in.
Yeah. Do you see, and maybe this is an obvious question, but in terms of our spirituality, how do we see our bodies and our healthy bodies as something that's going to help us spiritually?
That's a very good question. It's a very good question. So imagine this. Imagine feeling very spiritually strong, right?
Yeah.
I feel the Lord is calling me to something, but I'm so tired. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
St. Paul may have meant that from a different perspective.
Yes.
But imagine being in that perspective where you feel the Lord is calling me to something, but
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
don't feel strong enough. I feel weak. I have a lot of health issues. Now, all of a sudden, seeing that you feel spiritually balanced, and now how about adding in that physical balance? So now the Lord is calling you to something, and now you can actually go out and do it. What would that do to you? So now I feel spiritually strong. The Lord calls me out. I have the strength to do it, which further makes me spiritually strong.
Yeah.
So it's a continuous cycle.
Exactly.
And Don Bosco used to speak about this with his young boys. He used to say, let them get out there and do service to others. Allow them to help others. What that'll do is completely connect their strength to God.
Yeah.
But nowadays we have a wrench thrown into it, and that wrench is how we see ourselves, how we see our bodies. I feel fat. I feel insecure. So because of that, I'm going to hide myself. It
Right.
decreases your motivation.
Yes.
You don't feel like you want to do anything. You don't feel you want to get out there. If you can change the picture, then you can change the action that goes along with it. And that's really how the physical kind of connects with the spiritual.
Does it work the other way around, that if you're really healthy spiritually, that will feed your physical?
It can. See, it'll feed your physical by feeding you mentally.
Okay.
And by feeding you emotionally. But it's not going to help you run the mile faster.
No, I know,
It's
but
not gonna help you
I
lift
guess I
weights
see,
faster.
like, if you have a really healthy spiritual life, you see your body as a temple of the Holy Spirit. You want to, you're not going to,
Sure.
sit in front of the TV all day. You're going to eat maybe healthier,
Sure.
drink more water. I don't know. Like,
Sure.
so there is a connection. We actually asked Father Donatello, well, remember him working out, the same question: how do you integrate fitness with faith? And this is what he had to say.
It's just how faith you have to practice. It is a gift from God, but also at the same time, you've got to ask for faith and increase our faith. And I believe the connection with fitness, for me, is, if I'm working out and taking care of myself and health, I'm also practicing not only the interior through prayer and Christian virtues, but also taking care of the physical, whereas I can bring my faith into the workout and know that I'm preparing and focusing on going out into the world, proclaiming the gospel, but also being in a healthy state of mind and also healthy physically too.
Okay, so I think I get the whole spiritual health integrated with the physical health. But this is more than just spiritual health, because I think it has something to do with faith. So how do you see fitness related with faith in terms of our Catholic faith? Do you see a connection there?
I do. What I tell people is that the Lord used his body as an expression of his love for us.
Right.
Why would we not use our bodies as an expression of our love for him?
Okay.
So whenever people work out, even if they decide not to do the Catholic workout, I tell them to enter the mystery of hope. Jesus is our mystery, and Jesus is our hope. When Jesus was on the cross, he displayed this mystery. He displayed humility, he displayed opportunity, he displayed peace, but he also displayed endurance. Father, why is this happening to me? He displayed that patience and endurance of waiting and longing for God. So when we get into the workout, we can place ourselves in that hope, knowing very well that the Lord himself went through that hope while he was on the cross. Now, with your kids, you probably tell them when they're on the soccer field, leave it on the field, right? Leave everything on the field. I believe the Lord is telling us, leave everything at the foot of the cross.
Yes.
So the way you combine the fitness with the faith is by taking your workout, intensifying it, making it more intimate by going through, for example, the passion of our Lord, but then leaving your faith at the foot of the cross and saying, Lord, here's where I'm emptying myself of everything. Please renew me. Please refresh me so that I can go on and better do your work.
Yeah, and I know you said that it doesn't have to be the Rosary, it doesn't have to be the sorrowful mysteries, but do you see that those work better because of that physicalness to the sorrowful mysteries?
I do. That's another good question. I do see that. You see, people ask me, why do I have to focus on something that makes me feel so bad?
Yeah.
And I told them, because we have something up on those people 2,000 years ago. We know the outcome. We know how it ends. That's the good part of it. So while you go through the scourging and the nailing of the hands and the raising of the cross and those things, which just, I don't want to focus on that. You know that it ends with the resurrection and ascension into heaven. And that's the hardest part to think about. That's the hardest part to accept. We can accept the rest of it. We can accept that a man named Jesus was crucified, but to accept that he was resurrected and ascended into heaven is the part that really makes our faith whole.
It's really, just watching it, there's something about it, there's something about how it moves me just watching it. I don't even know how to explain this. And what I was going to say is, even when we were at the gym doing it, I thought that it wasn't helping my fitness so much as it was helping my faith, in that doing that motion, let's say the scourging, really helps you get into the mystery that we're praying, do you see that there's a benefit to, and I hate to use, I mean, it's not really acting it out, but a benefit to getting our bodies involved in prayer, whether it's working out or not, but getting our bodies involved in prayer.
Of course, definitely 100%, which is why I did this. You see, we can move our bodies at different levels. So for example, I can exercise and swim, but it's not the same intensity and intimacy than seeing the Lord get whipped. For example, if we take the example of Judas, and this is the example I usually use in my talks.
Yeah.
And I go, look at the level of the body. Imagine how intimate it was and how intensified it was with the fact that Judas kissed the Lord. Imagine if he would have went up to him and kind of just shrugged him on the shoulder and said, "This is how you betray me." No, the moment he took his body and he took such an intimate gesture and kissed him, all of a sudden it became really profound. It became very intensified.
It's so true. It's so true.
And that's the purpose of this. When you go through the movements, you are increasing your level of intimacy to the Lord. And the minute you increase your level of intimacy, you increase your level of intensity. And what follows? Gratitude. All of a sudden, you're thankful for everything that he did. And that changes the rest of your day. It changed my day today just when I finished doing the workout. It changes the rest of your day because you don't begin to really release yourself in certain ways that you would normally have done if you didn't have the attitude of gratitude. And that's really the
That's interesting. I don't know if you're familiar with Ignatian spirituality, but St. Ignatius, it talks about the way the Ignatian contemplation is that you place yourself in the scene. And this is a great way to place yourself in the scene. I mean, it's easy to kind of imagine what it would be like to flog Jesus. I mean, actually, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But to make your body go through certain motions that especially if you're a physical, I guess, or a kinesthetic kind of person. Maybe not everybody is that way. So who's this for? Is it? I mean, obviously, it's not just for Catholics. If you can substitute the prayer, but who's it for? Children, older people?
I would say when I wrote this really with the intention of the young adults.
Okay.
The young adults are the ones who go to the gym. The young adults are the ones who've had vanity driven down their throat. And you can't change vanity by simply focusing on vanity. You have to change vanity by adding a spice of God. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to make exercise and fitness purposeful. So I made it, in my mind, I created it for the young adults. But I'm finding that everyone's using it. What I mean by that is that if 10 pounds is too heavy, they go to 8 pounds, they go to 5 pounds, they go to 3 pounds.
10 pounds is too heavy.
Right? They use soup cans. They do what they
yeah.
can. The whole premise of it is taking the physical, combining it with the spiritual, and integrating it into an essence of prayer. Getting your heart rate up, getting your respiration up, trying to increase that intimacy with the Lord. That's really the purpose of the Catholic work.
And now, do you see this most effective in combination with other types of exercise, aerobic exercise, and other types of prayer?
Oh, sure. Oh, most definitely.
It's like if I just do this, am I set?
Well, you could be, because it actually is a challenge. If you do the workout the way it's meant to be done, it's actually a very challenging workout.
Okay.
And resistance training, when you stop also has an effect on the heart. So it's actually getting right to the heart of the matter also.
Yeah.
So you get that with the resistance training, but I also enjoy walking and saying the Rosary, or sometimes I just walk and clear my head and hope that I can fill it with better thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? So there's different type of exercises you can engage in, of course, by all means. Yeah.
Well, but I hope that this has been useful for people. If you're interested in more, learning more about the Catholic Workout, it's an easy website, thecatholicworkout.com. Michael Carrera is an author, but he's also a personal trainer, a fitness instructor. Sure, he does it all. He's an exercise physiologist, whatever that means. Thank you so much for spending the time with us.
Thank you, Pedro. Thank you.
And taking pity on me and taking me a little bit through the workout. 10 pounds is too heavy. If you have any questions or any comments about anything that you've heard on this program, do let us know. Send us an email, focus@saltandlighttv.org. Our guest today has been fitness trainer and author Michael Carrera. Again, thank you so much. This has been really good. And thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time on Catholic Focus.